also use Google Forms for your business, then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to create or update Keap contact on Google Forms submission. So here I'm managing an edutech company and we use Google Forms to gather the details of our potential clients. So what we do is we regularly conduct free webinars and sessions to generate more leads for our business. And now what I want is that as soon as someone registered for that same session or same webinar, which is a free one, automatically with the help of the same submission details, a new contact should be created or updated in my Keap so that we can follow up quickly and efficiently. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Google Forms and Keap. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So I'm going to do all of this so that I can convert my potential clients into paying clients. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen.
Welcome to my screen everyone. So as you know, in this video we are going to understand how to create or update Keap contact on Google Forms submission. So as I've already mentioned in my introduction that I manage an edutech company where we use Google Forms to gather the inquiries and sign-ups for our online courses and webinars. So to keep our contacts up to date and ensure efficient follow-ups, I want to set up this automation where what I want is that automatically a new contact should be created or updated in my Keap account as soon as a new form submission is made in my Google Forms. But as you know that Google Forms doesn't provide any native connection in order to create contacts in Keap. So in order to connect both of these applications, I've simply opened the landing page of Pabbly by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we're going to get two options. One is sign in and the other one is sign up for free. So if you're a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of stars free every month. But I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in right over here. And as soon as we're going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connects account. And as soon as we're going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here, I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations, and I want to name my workflow as how to create or update Keap contact on Google Forms submission, Google Forms to Keap. And then we're going to click on create. And as soon as we're going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So yes, by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and also actions for the commands given by a trigger. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander and the actions are followers of that same command. But as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So over here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. And in order to start with our automation, we have to select that trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Google Forms because of what I want is I want that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Google Forms, automatically my workflow should be triggered. And then for the trigger event, we are going to select it as new response received. And as soon as we're going to select the trigger event, it is giving me a webhook URL. So we're going to use this same webhook URL in order to create a connection between our Google Forms account and our Pabbly's workflow. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to copy this webhook URL and then we're going to follow this help text, and it is saying log into your Google Form account on which you want to take the submission and make the last question as required for the trigger. Navigate to the response tab and click on create spreadsheet icon to generate a new sheet to store from response. Yes, we're going to follow the same. I'm going to open my Google Forms account. What we have to do is we have to keep in mind that this last question should be a required one. Okay, so I'm going to make it a required one, and after making this a required one, what we have to do is we have to go on this responses, and after going on this responses, you're going to get the option of link with sheets right over here. I've already linked this Google Forms with my sheets, so it is saying view in sheets. So over here, if you're going to get link in sheets, you have to click on that button which says link in sheets, and you're going to get this option which is view in sheets. Okay, and then you have to click on this view in sheets and it is going to redirect you to the spreadsheet. Right over here you can see all the details, and after coming on here to your spreadsheet, what you have to do is we have to go on extensions, add-ons, and then get add-ons. So what we are going to do is we are going to add an extension right over here in our spreadsheet with the help of which we are going to connect this with our workflow. And now over here for the search apps, we are going to select it as Pabbly Connect Webhooks. So I'm going to search for Pabbly Connect Webhooks, and as you can see the same, so you're going to select it. So as you can see that I've already install this extension right over here. If you haven't installed this, you're going to get the option of install right over here and you can install this. And as soon as you're going to install this extension, you have to refresh this sheet. So to add this extension right over here, okay. And as soon as you're going to install this, you have to go on this extension. Pabbly Connect webhooks will appear right over here too, and you can see initial setup. So you have to go on this, and as soon as you're going to go on this initial setup, it is going to ask me the sheet name, webhook URL, and the trigger column. So for the sheet name, this is my sheet name, so I'm going to select the same. And now for the webhook URL, we are going to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow. And now it is asking me for the trigger column. So basically it is saying the trigger column will be a final data column on which if the data is added, the whole of that row data will be sent to our webhook URL. Okay, so for me the trigger column would be I, so I'm going to select it as I, and then we're going to click on submit. And as soon as we're going to click on submit, yes, you can see setup configured successfully. So yes, with this we have successfully created a connection between our Google Forms account and our Pabbly's workflow. But what we have to do is, it is saying waiting for a webhook response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission or record. So what we have to do is we have to test this webhook URL. For that we are going to do a submission in the Google Forms which we connected right now. Okay, but what we're going to do is, first I'm going to open my Google Sheets. We're going to go on the extensions Pabbly Connect webhooks, and as you can see the button of send on event. So we have to switch on this button right from here. It is really important to switch on this button right from here, which means that as soon as a new event occurs in my spreadsheet, automatically the details would be sent to the webhook URL, which is to my workflow. That's why it is really important to switch on this button. And yes, you can see that we have successfully switched this on, and now we are going to do the test submission. So I'm going to open my form. As you can see, preview form option, so I'm going to click on this so that we can do the test submission, right? So it is asking for the first name and last name. So for the first name, I'm going to keep it as demo right over here. For the last name, we are going to keep it as user. And now it is asking for the email, so we're going to enter the email. I'm going to move on forward, and now for the email, I'm going to keep it as demo@pabblytunes.com. It is asking me for the phone number, so for the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this right over here, and then we are going to move on forward. It is saying organization, so for the organization, I'm going to keep it as Pabbly Con right over here. We are going to move on forward. It is saying dietary restrictions. I'm going to keep it as vegan. We are going to move on forward. It is saying what specific area of automation are you most curious about? I'm going to keep it as marketing automation. How did you hear about this webinar? Let's suppose I'm going to keep it as website. It is saying current automation experience. I'm going to keep it as none, and then we're going to click on submit. And as soon as we're going to click on submit, yes, you can see that we have received your registration. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our registration, and with this we have successfully did the test submission. And now what has happened is that Google Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. So I'm going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the response or not. And yes, you can see that Pabbly has also captured the response. You can see all the details which we entered right over here. You can see the dietary restrictions, you can see the name. It is saying how did you hear about this webinar. You can see the organization, email, current automation experience. You can see all the details which we entered right over here, right? And after receiving all of these details, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now what will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Google Forms, automatically Pabbly is going to capture the response for the same and trigger this workflow or start this workflow. Okay, so now we're going to move on forward. What we want is we want to create or update a Keap contact on Google Form submission, right? So for my action application, we are going to select it as Keap. So I'm going to search for Keap, and as you can see Keap, so we are going to select it. And after selecting my application, it is asking me for the action event. So for the action event, we are going to select it as create or update a contact, and then we are going to click on connect. And as soon as we're going to click on connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Keap account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and then we have to click on this button which says connect with Keap. And as soon as we're going to click on this button, yes, you can see that we have successfully opened a dialog box right over here. And yes, you can see that it is asking me for some permissions. So what we are going to do is I'm going to click on allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for, because my data is secure with Pabbly. So you can also click on allow, Pabbly is safe. And as soon as we're going to click on allow and give Pabbly all the permissions, yes, you can see that with this we have successfully completed our connection between our Keap account and our Pabbly's workflow. With this we have successfully connected our Keap with our Pabbly's workflow. Okay, and now it is asking me for the email and another details of the contact. Okay, so now it is asking for the email. So let's suppose that we're going to enter the email right over here manually. Suppose suppose by typing it like this, then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and we have entered it manually. But if you're going to map this, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So okay, I'll let you know about mapping first. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Google Forms as our trigger application. So we're going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. And as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So here we are going to map the email, right? So I'm going to look for email and as you can see the same. So let's suppose I'm going to map this from the previous response, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping right over here. Okay, and now it is saying email opted in. I'm going to keep it as no. It is asking me for many another details. I'm not going to enter it. I'm only going to enter the required details. It is saying how to check for duplicates. I'm going to keep it as email. We are going to move forward. We are going to enter the first name of our lead right over here. I'm going to look for the first name. You can see demo. We are going to enter it. We're going to map the last name too, as you can see the same. So we're going to map it. We're going to move forward. We are only going to enter the required details. I'm going to move forward. If you wish, you can definitely enter all of these details, but I don't wish to add so directly I'm going to map the phone number right over here. I'm going to look for phone, as you can see the same. So we're going to map it. We're going to move forward right from here and click on this button which says save and send us request. So I've already entered the required details. Okay, and yes, you can see that as soon as we are going to click on save and send test request, we have received a positive response that we have successfully created or updated a contact in Keap with the same details received in our response. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Keap and check for the new contact created. So I'm going to open my Keap right from here. We're going to refresh this contacts page and check for the new contact created with the same details which we submitted in our test submission, right? And yes, you can see a new contact has been created. You can see the name which we entered, you can see the email which we entered, and also you can see the phone number which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this workflow once, and this time I'm going to give you a real-time example. So I'm going to open my form again right from here. I'm going to click on this preview form and we're going to do the test submission with the new details. So for the first name, I'm going to keep it as test right over here. For the last name, I'm going to keep it as user. We are going to move forward towards the email. For the email, I'm going to keep it as testuser55@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this. For the organization, I'm going to keep it as Pabbly Tudes right over here. We are going to move forward. For the dietary restrictions, none. We are going to move forward. Over here, we are going to keep it as workflow automation, social media, and over here we are going to keep it as no. And then we are going to click on submit. And as soon as we're going to click on submit, yes, you can see that with this we have successfully did another test submission. And now what has happened is that Google Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. Pabbly captured the response, triggered the workflow, and further created a new contact in our Keap account. So what I'm going to do is I'm directly going to open my Keap account and check for the new contact created. And this time we are not going back to our workflow and clicking on save and send test request, but instead directly I'm going to open my Keap account right from here and refresh this contacts page to check for the new contact created. And as soon as we're going to refresh this page right from here, yes, you can see a new contact has been created, name test user. You can see the email and the phone number which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully created a new contact with the test submission again. And yes, with this we have successfully tested this workflow in real time and completed this workflow successfully. So I'll just summarize this workflow for you once. So for the trigger application, we selected Google Forms. For the trigger event, we selected new response received. For the action application, we selected Keap, and then for the action event, we selected create or update a contact, because I wanted that as soon as the new response is received from my Google Forms, automatically with the help of the same details, a new contact should be created in my Keap account too. And yes, we were successful with our workflow too. Over here, you can see the two contacts I created during this video with the help of my workflow. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video, and for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.